Today I wanted to share with people the materials that I'm using to teach myself how to play guitar. At this point, since I'm a well-trained pianist, I'm just going to try to learn this on my own. And so I did a lot of research on the internet, and as a piano teacher, I know how to research and put together curriculum. So far, at the very beginning stages, I'm learning pretty well. But I bought quite a few different books, and some I like more than others. I had originally started thinking I needed to play the guitar because as a music coordinator for a church, there's a praise band and I have to work with usually young guitarists, and I didn't know how to play the guitar. So I'm gonna learn how to play the guitar. And a friend loaned me a guitar, but it was just a normal acoustic steel-stringed guitar. But inside his guitar box, there was a book. And so I started with that book, and actually that one is my favorite book. It's this one, Solo Guitar Playing. And near as I can tell on the internet, on Amazon, you can still buy a new updated version, but for classical guitar, which I ended up buying a classical guitar with the nylon strings and the larger fretboard, because I am a pianist and I like notes. Once I discovered that there were like real notes on this thing, I'm like, oh, now we're talking. So this is very good for the classical style, which is the style that I enjoy, and along the way I'm hoping to learn to chord so I can tell somebody how to play a chord when I'm playing in an ensemble situation. So this is a very good book. I like this one. But then I started researching, and on the internet I bought this one because it was at a music store. I don't like this one. I think it's an okay method, but it moves really fast, and I like to be able to play many things, and I'm the same way on the piano. I feel better if I can play 100 different little songs versus having to spend 100 hours on one before I can move to the next page. So I do use this, but I fill in, like, I learn one page and then I go play 50 pages because it's just really too fast. It moves too fast. And I know how to read notes, so I'm like, no, that's... And I'm using this one, Guitar Method 1. This is not just for acoustic, this is not just for classical guitar. It also can work for an acoustic guitar. This will probably be pretty good, especially if it moves pretty slow. The songs are recognizable. I mean, you get to play folk tunes and simple melodies. And actually, it's funny, I think since I teach piano, I've taught that song on the piano. I think all musical instruments start the same way. But not purely classical guitar. So if you're trying to do a little bit of both, this works pretty well. And the pacing's pretty good. You could use this with a younger person too. The first book that I said I really liked, that's more adult, teenager type thing. And this you could use with a younger person. And then finally, I decided to look into the music that's on the syllabus through the exam systems in England. I'm pretty familiar with the music that they use because I use them for my piano teaching, and they do a whole bunch of different instruments. So I looked up the guitar syllabuses online for those and ordered the music for the first couple levels because I wanted to make sure I was on the right track with stuff. So the Associated Board, let me say this right, the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music has an exam system, and that one's been around for a while. So I just bought the Scales and Arpeggios for guitar. I was really excited when I found out there was scales on there. I mean, I can't help myself. And then the book was repertoire, and this has timepieces, which means there's pieces from who knows when all the way up to 2006. So this has a nice variety of music, and this has a couple grades worth of music in it. So this book should last me for quite a while. I mean, like a year or two. Well, depends on how much I practice, but a year or two. And then there's another newer exam system in England called the Trinity College London, and I just started looking into that for piano, and so I thought, well, I'll look at their guitar syllabus. So and they kind of set things up the same way. So I got their scales and arpeggios, and actually this one has some little studies at each different level, and then just the solo pieces you would be using. And I just bought the initial, which is very beginner. And actually, the couple songs that I've recorded with, if you find my other YouTubes, with myself playing with the piano accompaniment, I'm playing a duet out of, 2 duets out of this book. So, and I like this book because the songs are nice and they make me feel accomplished even though I'm still a beginner. The Trinity College London books I didn't find in a US music store, so I had to import these from England, which actually wasn't that expensive. I mean, because a little bit more than just going to your neighborhood music store. Although I don't have a neighborhood music store. The nearest music store to me is an hour away, so I order all my music online. And then I just wanted to say a couple things about learning to play the guitar from a pianist's perspective. As someone who teaches piano, we learn rhythm and then we learn a few notes, and we pretty much stick with the method books stick with just a few notes for quite a while. I mean, it takes a while to get more than about an octave of notes. But in the guitar, and I know I think I move pretty fast through the beginning parts of this because I already know how to read notes, but I've been doing the guitar for 3 or 4 weeks, and I have like 2.5 octaves because I have the whole first position learned plus sharps and flats, and so it's kind of a lot of notes. And so I think that if you don't have any musical background, the note learning would seem to me to be overwhelming, but it's okay. I like it. And like I said, I'm just happy there's notes on there. And Frank seems to like the guitar. Like, yeah, he can't sit on the guitar. He can sit on the piano, but he still gets close.